sure you know the President is going to speak at the end of the panel, and we have to stay on schedule. Even me. I'm happy to report that we have more attending this meeting than ever before. The group includes more than 60 current and former heads of state, our government, more than 500 business leaders, more than 400 leaders from civil society and the philanthropy sectors, all representing 84 nations. We began CGI in 2005 with political leaders coming to New York for the UN General Assembly and the business leaders, philanthropists, NGO leaders, and others who wanted to not only discuss the major challenges in our time and form new partnerships to deal with them, but actually commit themselves to doing something. What has made this meeting unique from the very beginning is that each participant is actually asked to make a very specific commitment to do something measurable to reduce poverty, improve education and public health, fight climate change, or promote reconciliation. We help match people with ideas, with people with time, and people with skills, and people with money. But what has been done in all 1,400 of these areas has already improved the lives of more than 200 million people in more than 150 countries, including giving more than 10 million children access to better education, 48 million people access to better health care, 12 million people access to safe drinking water for the first time in their lives, 60 million metric tons of CO2 emissions cut, more than 33 million acres of forest protected or restored, sufficient clean energy generated to power more than 400,000 homes, more than $600 million invested in or loaned to small and medium-sized enterprises, 1.3 million micro-entrepreneurs receiving microfinance. Is a nonprofit dedicated to enhancing access to safe water and sanitation in developing nations. Gary is a leading advisor in this field. His vision has driven innovation in the way water and sanitation projects are delivered and financed. In 2009, he has received the Skoll Foundation's Award for Social Entrepreneurship. Matt Damon is known to most of you as an Academy Award-winning actor who has been actively involved in this field for years. Let me tell you what I know about this guy. He knows about this subject, and it bothers him that 1 billion people in the world have no access to clean water, and that 2.5 billion have no access to sanitation. I had a meeting the other day in my capacity as the UN envoy for Haiti with people in the Haitian diaspora in America so that I could persuade them to spend more money in Haiti to bring it back. Matt Damon showed up and stayed the whole time and didn't say a word. He just took notes to make sure that he knew everything he needed to know to help them solve their water problems. I admire that, and you should admire both of them. They're going to give us a problem.
All right. The President said scoot. I'm going to scoot. So now it's time for the commitment. I'm very excited to announce that Water.org will extend its work to Haiti, one of the world's poorest nations.
President Bill Clinton made it clear that you can give your time and talent. So we have a commitment to undertake, and in our shoes, we will do it. Now I keep on walking from being a girl to being a mentor of other girls, from accepting aid to giving trade for aid with skills to follow my dreams. But in my shoes, I still worry. Will I walk alone? Am I freed alone? Thousands of girls are poverty-stricken, but where do they get their shoes? As for us, we choose to give back, for we are global citizens. Thank you.
The first Latin American woman to be the Minister of Defense, which I found mysterious since everybody knows women are tougher than men. She also speaks English, German, French, and Portuguese, and has won rave reviews for her consultative leadership style and her interest in what used to disparagingly be called soft issues in this country, her understanding that if everybody is included in a country's prosperity, it will do better. Madam President.
we developed a lot of different measures in order to produce social protection for the vulnerable or the poorest people. So the crisis that we did not, were the responsible for that, were not the poorest people in our country who had to deal with that. So I would say right now, it's usually not very easy to talk about the future, because we have seen that all estimations have been going a little bit wrong. But we believe we are recovering ourselves from it. And we think that it is because of our sound policies, because of...
For most of our life together, Hillary was totally active in starting and implementing and activating NGOs all over America, all over the world, and I was in politics. Then one day we sort of traded places. And I like it just the way it is right now. I think I got the long end of the straw.
Thank you so much. Good evening. And thank you, President Clinton, for the extraordinarily brief introduction, which during the UN General Assembly week does not happen that often. Some of you are aware that last week President Clinton and I were here in New York together. We were having lunch in a small Italian restaurant, and we talked about the economy, we talked about healthcare, we talked about pressing global challenges. And then he said to me, would you pass the Parmesan? And then he said to me, would you speak to our annual meeting? I think everyone knows what it's like when Bill Clinton asks you to make a commitment. He looks you in the eye, he feels your pain. It makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. What could I say? I was vulnerable just as all of you have been vulnerable to his trust. We have state lately, but I hope he doesn't mind, because Hillary Clinton is doing an outstanding job for this nation. I also want to just very briefly take this opportunity to thank President Clinton for his service. In his 8 years in office, he helped swing open the doors of opportunity and prosperity to millions of Americans. And as the first U.S. president to face the full force of globalization, he worked to share that prosperity with people around the world, from promoting trade to expanding education to forging a historic global compact on debt relief. To all the CGI members here tonight, I want you to know how grateful I am for your efforts. And I know that those efforts require greater commitment at such difficult economic times. Indeed, your work and the spirit of service behind it is deeply personal to me. I've seen it, I've been shaped by it my entire life. I first saw it in my mother. She was an anthropologist who dedicated her life to understanding and improving the lives of the rural poor, from Indonesia to Pakistan. Whether working with USAID or the Asian Development Bank, the Ford Foundation, Bank Rakyat in Jakarta, or Women's World Banking here in New York, she championed the cause of women's welfare and helped pioneer the microloans that have helped lift millions from poverty. So my mother understood that whether you live in the foothills of Java or the skyscrapers of Manhattan, we all share common principles: justice and progress, tolerance, and the dignity of all human beings.
You like the candy? I did. I got him in the journalist. Very good.